So let's talk about chapter 3 somewhat, all right? So, chapter 3, just kind of review before we go through the slides, is kind of, talking about how do businesses use information systems. And it starts kind of at a macro level. It starts by talking about Porter's 5 forces. And what are we talking about when we talk about Porter's 5 forces? What does the 5 forces control? The bargaining power of customers, bargaining power of suppliers, rivalry. What are all those things defining? What are we trying to define when we talk about industry structure? It is how competitive or how hard is it to do business in our industry, right? And it comes down to determining how profitable or how lucrative whatever industry it is. Okay? And once we understand the 5 forces, then we can come up with a competitive strategy. And we're going to use Porter's model again, and he has really 4 competitive strategies. And you can parse this a little finer, but for this class, that's fine. What are the 4 competitive strategies? And really there's 2 at 2 different levels. What are they? Christina?
Cost and differentiation.
Okay, we can compete on cost, meaning we want to be the low-cost provider of whatever this service is. We want it to be so cheap, so enticing that people say, that's where I want to be, yes? So cost, and we can do cost at 2 different levels. We can try to compete across the whole industry, or we can specialize. They call it focus. We can focus on something, maybe a certain type of product in that industry, a certain segment of the market in that industry. We can focus, we can specialize. So cost is one way to compete. What's the other? What's the other? Christina?
Differentiation.
Right. We're going to be special, right? Everyone wants to be special. We're going to differentiate ourselves. We're going to say that we offer superior service or superior technology or whatever it is, but something that's worth the extra money that you pay, right? It's worth it, right? Differentiation. And we can differentiate yourself and compete in a industry-wide or a focused type of market. So this is what we talked about at first, okay? And why we want to understand that is because we want to talk about information systems for competitive advantage. Okay? So I'm going to define some terms, first of all. Porter, we're using Porter's model, he defines value as whatever the customer is willing to pay for your service. That's the value of your service. Like you guys are willing to pay X dollars for tuition. That's the value of our tuition. If you're willing to pay $1,000 for a Rolex watch, that's the value. If you're willing to pay $40,000 for a Mercedes Benz or whatever it might be, that might be a cheap one, but that's the value of it. Okay, and we also want to define something called margin. What do you think margin is? When we talk about value, that's what the people, customers are willing to pay for your product or service. So what is margin? Christina?
Isn't it like when you get the best value, like the customer's getting the best value, but you're also getting the best price?
Okay, so margin is the difference between the value and like all the things that went into creating that value, right? All the things that we spent. That's profit, if you will. Okay, the margin is, what's the difference there? Okay, what's the difference there? And when we talk about that, okay, we talk about something called the value chain. Okay, and the value chain in a business is all the activities that add to that value. And your book defines, and this is good, I'm not going to go into this in great detail, but your book defines 5 primary value-adding services or value-adding functions in the business world. Okay, and this is an example of a bicycle shop. So we are creating bicycles, and it talks about 5 primary activities in the value chain, and those are denoted by the blue boxes. Okay, it says acquire bicycle parts. Now, acquired bicycle parts is an example of that, but what we call that first one, and this is important, is inbound logistics. Inbound logistics. Inbound logistics is sourcing whatever I need to do my function. Okay, whatever I need to do my function. If I'm making bicycles, obviously I need steel, I need rubber, I need the part, whatever the parts are, right? So all that's called inbound logistics, right? That's a primary service. How do you think businesses use IT to help inbound logistics or to facilitate inbound logistics? How do they use information systems for inbound logistics? Give me an example, any example. Matt?
To see how much of a product they need to sell in order to bring in.
Okay, so I guess you're right. We're working backwards. If we know we're going to make 1,000 bikes, we need to work backwards from there and say that means we need this many parts, right? So obviously, information systems can help with that, yes? We know we can work backwards, probably maybe an Excel spreadsheet or some kind of software problem. What else can it help with? You're right. Determining how much we need to order, but what else? Yes? Yes, Christine?
Which like type of bike sells the most and
Okay, so yeah, that's part of it, and that might be up in the marketing thing. I'm talking about acquiring the material. You know, say we're General Motors. What would General Motors be in inbound logistics? What is General Motors acquiring inbound logistics? What are they acquiring? Steel, glass, right? Whatever their inbound. So what kind of IT or information systems can help facilitate that? Nothing. What inbound logistics for a retailer like Walmart would be what? All the product, the Pop-Tarts that are coming in, the fruit, all that stuff. So what kind of information systems help with that process? Nothing? I'm just going to call on people if you guys aren't answering. Randomly, I'm going to call on people. A lot of people put their head down. Scared. Wow, this is easy stuff, Franklin. What is it, Franklin? You know. Well, give me an example of how information systems can be used to help us acquire parts for bicycles, or to make sure that we have enough Pop-Tarts for the next month at Walmart. Just give me anything.
Like you take an inventory, like when you're in Walmart, you take an inventory, and then you look based on like your sales and Pop-Tarts, so you'll be able to know ahead of time.
Okay. So yeah, some kind of information system that does the forecasting of demand and when we're going to need Pop-Tarts and be out of stock of Pop-Tarts, right? But think about the process itself. We have to have relationships with suppliers, do we not? And in fact, our relationships with suppliers might be very tight, right? We actually, in a lot of these bigger companies, they actually say to them, you know what, we're not even going to monitor our inventory. We're going to use information systems to do that. And we're going to make that available to our suppliers on something called an extranet. Do you guys ever hear of an extranet? You've heard of internet, right? You know that. Yes, I don't have to go into that. What is an intranet? I-N-T-R-A.
Inside that company?
Yeah, it's inside the company. Like, I guess My Francis would be an example of our intranet. So what an extranet is basically it's an internet site that we provide extra services to select people. Usually like vendors or customers, but maybe we say if we're General Motors, we let Pittsburgh Plate Glass look at our inventory levels and say, automatically when it gets this level, we're going to ship you out this glass, you know? If you think about Walmart, you know, they're very good at tracking all their inventory. They use what's called RFID chips to make sure they know exactly where every pallet is at any given moment, and the velocity of it receiving it to their warehouses and to their stores. All those kind of things are ways we can drive down prices, right? Drive down, compete on costs, right? If we can do that more efficiently, the better, okay? The better. All right, so that's called inbound logistics. The next one, produce bicycle. What do you think that's called? Producing something. We call that operations or manufacturing. So give me examples of how technology is used in operations and manufacturing. How about a cost? How can we drive down costs using information systems in the manufacturing of things. Pablo?
Making a process automatic.
Okay, remember we talked about automation, right? The process of doing it with not with people, but with computers. So anytime we have automation, even if it's robotics on assembly lines, even those craziest, those crazy. I don't know if you've ever seen the How's It Made shows. You ever watch that How's It Made? God bless you. That's all automation. So that's how we drive down cost. Think about how in manufacturing, what kind of technologies can add to the differentiation. Give me anything. How about in producing a bicycle? How can we add to the differentiation? How about producing anyone buy high-end bicycles? No? Not yet. Maybe some point in your life you will. High-end sporting equipment maybe, some of you may buy. Tom, you get a high-end tennis racket? No? Whatever Walmart's selling? High-end, like expensive, like customizable. Like very customized to you and your swing and your attributes. No? Whatever Walmart's selling, you pick off the shelf. Play the Division I level, I doubt that. Think about this, okay? A lot of times, differentiation, we're trying to produce something very customized toward a person, toward an individual. So there are technology. You guys know what 3D printing technology is? What's 3D printing technology? Okay, that's used a lot now in what's called custom manufacturing processes, where instead of me buying clubs, golf clubs, I buy golf clubs that are maybe tailored toward my height, toward my swing, my strength, my whatever, right? And it can be very customized for me. When they talk about producing 3D printing is used a lot of times for like differentiation, like, I don't know, artificial hips, things like that have to be really customized for you, yes? You can't just buy an artificial hip. My artificial hip's going to look, hopefully I don't need one, but it's going to look different than Brandon's, right? Different than Annie's. So it needs to be customized. So we need to provide different, and right, they're not competing on cost. When the artificial hip, you're not saying, I want to find the lowest cost artificial hip, right? You're looking for the one that's going to work for you for a long term. So those are technologies, right? In the manufacturing process, we have really been able to drive down things, and that's why we can go to Walmart and buy things. You're like, this is crazy. I can buy this thing for, I can buy a calculator for, $1. This is crazy. Do you ever go to Walmart and buy something? You're like, this is crazy. I can buy this much food or whatever for, like ramen noodles. Sometimes you buy 20 of those for $1. You're like, oh my God. Isn't it amazing the way we've driven down the cost of things with technology? Yes, it is. How about ship bicycles? Well, that's called outbound logistics, okay? Collecting, storing, and physically distributing the products to buyers, wherever these products be. Give me an example of how, give me any example of how technology can be used to support outbound logistics. Kind of transformed all media purchasing in the last 10, 15 years. Frank, go ahead.
I was gonna say like UPS, like the website tracking over.
Okay, so very good. Outbound logistics, we can, tracking services. How about actually delivering of the product that was 20 years ago wasn't really possible? Even 5, 8 years ago wasn't really possible. Like think about entertainment or media. You guys are consumers of this, I'm sure.
Like
Yeah.
Netflix kind of?
Sure, right. What's the standard delivery now for Netflix?
Online.
Yeah, stream it, right? So that is shipping, that is outbound logistics. That's getting you your service, right? Getting you your movie or whatever, right? Instead, it used to be outbound logistics used to be facilitated. Netflix used to facilitate, well, they still do, but the mail, right? And before that, that was you had to go to the Blockbuster, right? You had to go and rent the movie and bring it back and then bring it back. All those kind of things, right? Rewind a damn thing, right? All those kind of things. Think about music and application and all the digital delivery of things. It's going to go even a step further. How can we pair digital stuff with 3D printing? All the digital items now are delivered electronically. You can buy a will electronically. You can buy all kind of things with songs, movies electronically. We can't really buy physical things electronically or you know, download, stream it down. But what's going to happen with 3D printing eventually? Yeah, Pablo?
You get a 3D printer at home and you can just print it at your place.
Think about that. Remember we talked about Moore's Law driving things down? 5, 10 years ago, 3D printers weren't accessible by me and you or the average consumer. Now they are, okay? So I guarantee you in less than 5 years' time, you'll probably have a 3D printer in your home. You probably will, okay? And what does that mean? Well, a 3D printer can build up things in resin or metal or plastic or whatever. And let's say you're putting together your kid's bike and you need a part, okay? Maybe it's a screw or a pin or something, I don't know. But you say, well, geez, I now have to wait for this. You can download that and produce it, right? You can produce it yourself. Or you can say, you know, I need an iPhone case. I can't download an iPhone case, but you know what? This guy over here in India produced a beautiful one out of this resin thing. I can download, you know, the specs of that. My 3D printer can print it, and now I've downloaded, you know, I have a physical iPhone case in my house. So think about that, how technology has changed that as well, or will change that.
You know how they say, like, I was hearing that.
I'm sorry, what?
There's, like, I was hearing that technology will take, like, a step further with a 3D printing.
Right.
Because, like, in the future, like, you will be able to download from, like, I don't know, car companies and stuff like that, just, like, the pieces that your car might be missing, for example.
Sure, yeah.
And from your computer, for example, and stuff like that, and just be able to actually print it from your, like, from your house and just do it yourself.
Yes.
Like, all the-
Yes, that will definitely be something that becomes more mainstream. You know, you want a chess set, well, you know, maybe a customizable, and think about the customizations we can do then, right? You know, you don't have to, it's going to be, you can design it yourself and build this thing. You know, there's an adage that says, there's nothing like giving 1 million people the keys to the factory. You know, for many, many years, everyone was just consumers and there were very few producers. You think about it. I can have my own radio show. I don't know who would listen to it, but I could record every morning, like Miko in the morning, okay? And you guys could download it, right? Every morning you could subscribe to it through an RSS feed. And now I'm broadcasting, and if it got viral, I could have millions of people, right? Before you needed a radio station, yes? You needed that investment. You know, 3D printing is going to, you know, I'm not a manufacturer or something, but I can be. I can be a designer now in my living room, okay? So that is really going to change something. Market and sell bicycles. We call this sales and marketing, okay? Think about sales and marketing services. A lot of you guys are in marketing. Inducing buyers to purchase the product and providing a means for them to do so. This has really changed a great deal. Listen to this story. Me and my wife, our kitchen light broke. Okay, our kitchen light broke about a year ago, and so we, you know, she's real picky with things, and she likes real expensive things, and I don't like expensive things. So we have to agree on this. We don't really have to agree because her opinion matters like 99%, mine's 1%. But it's been like a year, and we don't have a kitchen light. I just have a light bulb screwed in. That's it. You know, that's our kitchen light. It looks pretty. I don't want to use that term, but it looks bad. Okay. So I'm on Facebook. My son's looking over my shoulder like he always does, and he says, "Hey, Dad, that's a nice kitchen light." And I said, "Yeah, it is nice. It looks like, you know, something my wife and I like." So I called my wife over, and I said, "Oh, what do you think of that?" And she goes, "I was looking at that today." So here, think about that. They know we're married, right? Facebook knows my wife and I are married. She wasn't looking on Facebook. She was on this site called, I don't know, Light Buying Direct or whatever it is, and she was looking at this page, and that information, you know, she was spending time, you know, like, hey, your wife's looking at this, pops up on my Facebook. So think about that, you know? Think about that. That's crazy intrusive, right? So I'm thinking, oh my God, they know we're married, which I guess I said I'd marry on, but they know what she's looking at and says, hey John, guess what your wife is looking at? You know what I mean? Think about that. Isn't that crazy, the level of marketing, the level of customizable marketing we get? I mean, it's not, when you're typing in Gmail and you're typing about, I don't know, Hawaii or something like that, you see, you know, vacations for Hawaii. I guess that feels okay, but that was kind of creepy. You know, that was one of the most, and I'm not a privacy advocate at all. I'm fine, my whole life, I don't care, you know. But that was kind of creepy, and that's the kind of marketing, you know, that's the kind of marketing that we're getting to, the very custom, algorithmic. They know who you are. Service customers. So customer service, assisting customers use the products and thus maintaining and enhancing the product's value. Give me some ways technology has changed that. Anyway, it's faster. So give me an example. That's very good, Taylor. Give me an example. How has technology made that faster?
Before you order something online, like, it's probably shipped out within, like, hours.
Okay, so definitely all that has been faster. Shipping, marketing, selling. Service customers, customer service is definitely a faster process as well. You think about it, what do you do before you even call the number? Like something breaks, something's not working. What do you do before you even call the damn number? Yes?
Look online, see if
You Google it, right? You say, I fix so many things by Googling it, right? My van's got this code. I don't know what the hell this code is. I'm not calling Honda, right? I Google it. Some other joker somewhere had the same code, and this is what it meant, right? My lawnmower is doing something funny. I Google it, and see what some other joker somewhere. That's what. So think about that. Not only has it taken off some of our time, right? Some of the customer service time we used to have to spend, but not only that, some of the content is delivered by other people. I mean, think about all the free customer service we get now because. You go out and say, well, there's something wrong with my iPhone. Well, someone produced a video on fixing your iPhone that doesn't work for Apple. Yes? Now, we can put out FAQs, those kind of things, commonly asked questions. Even when you do customer service now, and before you even try to talk to a person, it says, hey, did you check out our FAQs? Before you even get to that point, that's how it works. So customer service has really changed. These are 5 primary activities in the value chain. And if you think about it, we could go through each one of these, and you're going to have to do this in the exercise we do Wednesday, but go through each of those things and think about how we can use information systems to drive down the cost of those functions or to differentiate those functions, right? To make them special. And think about customer service. How can we make things special? Well, think about all the information we can gather on you now and keep on you. And I know this is a ploy that a lot of people do, like car dealers do. They send out birthday cards. You ever get a birthday card from a car dealer? No? Anyone? No? Matt, did you? Jerry, did you? You think they know you, Jerry? They don't care about you, Jerry? No? But they have your birthday, so they have an automated system that sends out a birthday card. And it works with some people, right? It doesn't work with me, but my wife was like very impressed by it. She's like, oh, they remember my birthday down there. I'm like, yeah. They said they have a computer program that sends out a mail merge because you're born on September. So anyways, those are primary things in the value chain. And these are called secondary or support activities. These are things that we have to do, but really don't add value, but they're things we need in an organization. Those things are, let's start this way. Management, okay, infrastructure. If you think about it, there's always the need to manage, like to make strategic decisions, to make operational decisions. Maybe not producing the bicycles or marketing the bicycles or anything like that, but some kind of firm infrastructure, some kind of management, making decisions, staffing. We need human resources. The whole human resource department is just saying we need to, it's kind of like procurement for humans, right? And training and all those kind of things. So a human resources department would be that. Investigate new designs, technology. This is like research and development would be best for this. Not what our primary process is, but what are we going to do next? What's going to be the next thing that we do? And manage supplier relationships, procurement, a little bit different than acquire bicycle parts. This is like a procurement function, like we have contracts, we have relationships with vendors. That's more of that, not the actual bringing in of the item. Okay, this is like managing those relationships. So in all this, okay, the margin is equal to the value, what people are willing to pay for this, minus cost. And why they call this the value chain is hopefully we're adding to our product every step in the chain. We're adding some value to it at a lower cost than the value, right? We're adding to it all through this process. And hopefully, we get to the end and we have enough margin or enough profit to survive. So So I didn't go through this slide, but this is the 5 primary activities. And here are some examples of, well, I'm not going to go through that example. All right, so the last thing I'm going to do in this chapter, and like I said, this chapter is not my favorite chapter. It's important, but it's not my favorite chapter, is we're going to talk about how do information systems provide competitive advantage. And there are really 8 principles of competitive advantage. The first one is we can provide competitive advantage through products, okay, through the products that we offer. First one, create a new product or service. Give me an example of this. Give me an example of a company that has created value, created competitive advantage through a brand new product or service. Yes.
I was gonna say Apple, but they're not.
Oh, yeah, they recently did. What's a brand new
They
product or
use the
service
watch.
for them, anyways?
The watch.
Their watch, right? It's not brand new to the market, right? There are other watches, but it's a brand new product or service to them, is it not? It is. Okay. And they probably have some value. You know, it's the first one running on the Apple what is it, OS Watch or Watch OS, I think it is, their operating system. So that would be a brand new product, right? Brand new product. We mentioned Netflix. They use technology to create a brand new product, right? The streaming. They didn't create it, but it's a brand new product to them, right? That's an example of technology creating a brand new product. Let me think of another. You guys got any other examples? What are other examples? A lot of things that we saw. You know, a lot of things we saw, like the Ford. You know, the Ford key. That's a brand new product. Now, you could argue that that's probably an enhancement to an existing product. The car is the product, and you're enhancing it. But I'd say that's probably pretty good. Give me an example. Give me other examples of technology that's created brand new products. How about websites that are create brand new products? How about eBay? You think think about eBay, how that transformed things. And I know that several years ago. But eBay, as an online auction, was able to bring together, auctions aren't new, but that online auction was a new product, right? They were one of the first ones in that avenue. They're able to bring together an unlimited number of buyers, an unlimited number of sellers, in what's called, nearly perfect market. Okay? So new products. How about number 2? Give me some examples of enhancing products or services. And we can enhance products or services. A lot of times we do this for differentiation purposes. Go ahead, Maya.
Like how they come out with the phone, like it's the same phone, they just have better services. Would it be like iOS?
Okay. So enhancing products or services, for example, a new operating system, I would say that would be fine, right? That would be a new add-on. Think about products that are better because of technology. How about this one? Anyone golf? Anyone golf? One of my favorite experiences, because I'm not a good golfer, but I love technology, is when I go to a high-end golf course. What do they have in the cars? GPS cards. I love GPS cards. You know what? GPS cards is an enhanced product or service. The golf course is the golf course, but what have they added on to that? They've added GPS. So now instead of shanking 150 yards, I shank it 60 yards, right? So that is an enhanced product service. Matt, do you have one?
I would say like upgrades for apps that we already have.
Okay, yeah, that would be as well. Sure, that would be. Think about, GPS in rental cars or voice navigation. The rental car is the service. They've used technology to enhance that service, right? To make it differentiated somehow. Yes? Does that make sense? We probably, a few years ago, I don't know how old our laptop program is, but maybe it's 10, 12 years old. That is using technology to differentiate our service, right? We say, hey, if you come to St. Francis, you get a laptop, right? It's been a pretty successful program for us, right? That's a differentiation of our service. The fact that you can do online registration now, right? That's an enhancement to the product or service. The fact that I'm enhancing my product right now by recording this, right? That's not part of the standard product, right? now that you can watch it later. I'm sure you all do. But that's an enhancement to the product. So using technology to enhance the product is another way. And some of these things are related. Differentiate products or services, could be same as enhance, right? That's a lot of those, the enhancement is what differentiates it. So the first one is we can create competitive advantage by product implementations. New to the world products, or taking an existing product or service and differentiating and enhancing it through technology. We can also do it through process implementation. So I like this first one. Lock in customers and buyers. How can technology help lock in customers or buyers? Yes?
Like advertising, how it would make your life easier.
Okay, you're right. So lock in customers or buyers. I'll give you an example. Bill pay. I use bill pay with my bank. Now, it's not contractual that I have to stick with my bank, but I'm going to stick with my bank even if they start, up in my fee a little bit. Why? Why do you think I'd stick with my bank? Why are they kind of lock me in a little bit, Matt?
Yeah, no, but wouldn't it be like, once you set something, like a lot of people don't like change, so they feel like it would be a hassle for everyone to like move your records to a new bank?
Yeah, I have a lot of investment in all the people, all the things I pay, right? I have not a lot of investment, but my time is precious, right? I have all the addresses, all the account numbers in the M&T bill payment system. And I could switch, but it'd be a pain in the butt, right? They made it easy for me, right? And the same thing, like, you think about, like, I don't know, you guys don't do your taxes at the end of the year, but it's kind of a pain in the butt to switch, because once you're using TurboTax, you're like, hey, they import everything in the next year for you, and you can start fresh. You don't have to re-enter that. You're like, wow, why the hell would I switch now, right? They kind of lock in by making it. Why would you want to switch? Now, there's contractual ways to lock you in, but that's not technology locking you in. Contractual ways is like what Verizon does, 2 years, and or you have to pay us so much money, right? That's contractual. But when we talk about locking in customers and buyers, we're saying we make it difficult for you to switch, right? Or make your life so easy that if you do switch, it's going to be a huge pain in your butt, right? That's what we're saying when we say lock in customers or customers or buyers here. Lock in suppliers, the same thing we could say there. We can put, there's business to business kind of technology. Raise barriers to market entry. What does that mean? Raise barriers to market entry. What does that mean? Raise barriers to market entry. What do you guys think that means? Kate?
Kind of like make it harder to like establish a new business in that field.
It is. And how would we use technology to make it harder for others to enter into to compete with us? You're right. You're exactly right. But what makes it more difficult?
Isn't that what Netflix did to Blockbuster, kind of?
What do you mean?
Well, Blockbuster was like a retailer, more.
They were a physical,
yeah,
bricks and mortar retailer.
So then Netflix just made it easier for everybody to come on and do it online.
Mm-hmm.
Put those barriers up for Blockbuster because they really couldn't. They tried to go over there, but it was already too late.
Yeah, that was probably more. I know what you're saying. That was probably an enhancement or a differentiating product or service, and what that was called, because it's called first mover advantage. Because you're the first. And sometimes it's not an advantage, because sometimes the second mover, they say, learns from the mistakes of the first mover and doesn't have to pay for those mistakes. But that was probably a result of first mover advantage. Blockbuster, and strategy shows, was really too slow to embrace that. Really, they were way too slow. They thought, we got this bricks and mortar investment. And think about, bricks and mortar itself is expensive, right? Employees are expensive. So online kind of things like Netflix and Amazon, much easier to pivot on a dime, right? You don't have all this investment in infrastructure. But raise barriers to market entry is investing in technology that becomes part of the product, that becomes part of the expectation. And if anyone wants to play in that market, they're going to have to provide the same kind of technology, the same kind of services. If you think about, search engines, right? You've come to expect something from Google. You've come to expect something from Bing. And they have huge investments in their technology infrastructure and the amount of seconds that it comes back with a search. So that is raising barriers to market entry, establishing alliances, very easily done in technology. Let's talk about something called an affiliate program. What's an affiliate program? If I spell it right. I don't think I did. Is there 2 L's in affiliate? 1? Is that right? That doesn't seem right. Is it? All right. What's an affiliate program? Anyone ever take part in an affiliate program? How about Amazon Associates? It's an affiliate program. You ever hear of Amazon Associates? Okay, establishing alliances. You can right now sign up to become an Amazon Associate, Google. What it means is you run a website, a very successful website. People come to your website. You don't have any products or services you're going to sell, but you can put out a link to products that Amazon sells. If someone clicks on that link and buys it, Amazon gives you a kickback, right? So now Amazon just doesn't sell their things on their websites. They sell it on all their associates' websites. You ever know anyone that runs a blog and they make a lot of money? You're like, how do they make money running a blog? Well, that's one of the ways they make money. If they're writing a blog on cell phones, they put out ads. They're an associate for, I don't know, Best Buy or something like that, and they put out ads. And if someone clicks through their link and goes to Best Buy and buys it, Best Buy gives them a kickback. Some of the more lucrative ones in the past have been for things like gambling sites, like poker sites. You could, if you were an Amazon or affiliate for them and someone clicked and spent like $500, you got like $100. There's like a lot of affiliate programs for like get rich quick. These are bad ones, but those are the more lucrative ones, the ones that are a little bit shady. Okay, so establishing alliances, we can do that through affiliate programs. iTunes has one. You can start selling, movies or songs. And then we've talked to Helen back about this, reducing costs. Okay, that is differentiating our product, or not differentiating, but reducing the cost of producing our product through the use of technology. Now, everything else in here is just kind of fluff. Okay, so what I'm going to stop here today, and we're done with chapter 3. On Wednesday, we're going to do an exercise on this stuff called competitive edge and using technology